Can you claim free from preservatives on your product? Can you freely choose the concentration of the product protection system in your formulation? Hi everyone, I'm Balint, and I'm glad to welcome you to today's new episode of our series about the secret heroes of personal care. In this class, we'll be talking about cosmetic regulations, and more specifically about regulations on preservatives in cosmetics. Let's start with the objective of cosmetic regulations. It is there to establish rules for all cosmetic products made available on the market, to ensure the safety of cosmetic products and thus protect human health. Those rules vary from country to country. The final product has to meet the local regulations where the product is sold. In addition, it's also important to follow the good manufacturing practice of the country of production. Many countries have developed their own regulatory lists of banned or restricted cosmetic ingredients. And some have also developed positive lists for cosmetic ingredients with special functions like color additives, UV filters, and of course, preservatives. The European Cosmetic Regulation is often used as a reference in many countries outside of Europe. That is the reason why, unless indicated otherwise, I will use it as the reference during this class. And now, let's make this a challenge and answer a true or false quiz. Okay, let's start with an easy one. There is a defined list of allowed preservatives. True or false? True. In Annex 5 of the European Cosmetic Regulation, today there are around 60 allowed preservatives for cosmetic formulations. This Annex 5 also indicates a maximum allowed use concentration, as well as other restrictions according to the finished application. However, only a few of the ingredients on this list are commonly used. This list is in constant evolution, and new restrictions or ban can apply, and in some cases, new ingredients may be added. For example, in 2016, phenoxyethanol was confirmed by the Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety to be safe up to 1%. In 2019, a new molecule has been added to the positive list of preservatives, hydroxyethoxyphenylbutanol. That same year, 4 molecules, including formaldehyde and paraformaldehyde, were banned. More recently, in 2021, zinc pyrithione was also removed from the European Cosmetic Positive List of preservatives. Next, some listed preservatives must be used at different concentrations depending on the type of products. True or false? True. Indeed, some preservatives are authorized at different use levels in leave-on, rinse-off, or oral care products, for example. The use level is usually lower in leave-on in comparison to rinse-off products, as those are washed away from the skin. Sodium benzoate is allowed up to 2.5% in rinse-off products, up to 1.7% in oral care products, and up to 0.5% in leave-on. Some, like Simonol, for example, can be used at the same use level in all formulation types. Another one? All ingredients with antimicrobial properties are preservatives. True or false? False. Preservatives are defined as substances which are exclusively or mainly intended to inhibit the development of microorganisms in the cosmetic product. Ingredients that are not listed in the Cosmetic Positive Preservative List cannot be claimed as preservatives. There are other cosmetic ingredients that we call multifunctionals. They have a primary function that can be antioxidant or emollient, for example, and only a secondary function of antimicrobial. One of them was launched on the market more than 30 years ago, in 1992. You might have heard of it. A 1,2-alkane known as pentylene glycol has a primary function of emollient and a secondary function of enhancing product protection. Cosmetic formulations must contain at least one preservative. True or false? False. It is not mandatory for cosmetic formulations to contain a preservative. For instance, some products can be self-preserved. It is also possible to use hurdle technology to avoid or limit microorganism growth. Various factors may act as barriers like pH, sterile, single-use packaging, solid cosmetics, and much more. And last question, I can claim free from preservative on my product. True or false? False. This used to be true, but in July 2019, a technical document on cosmetic claims came into force. This document is a guide on the best practice for claims. Free from claim, such as preservative-free, should be avoided, as this can denigrate allowed cosmetic ingredients and lead the consumers to a misunderstanding that the formulation is not protected. For example, free from parabens should not be used since parabens are allowed preservatives. That's all for today. Thank you for listening. Please keep in mind that regulatory is in constant evolution. You can have a look on the website of the relevant official regulatory agencies. In addition to following the regulation of your countries, do not forget about the specific rules within your company. Stay tuned for a new episode about our beloved heroes.
Symrise, always inspiring more.